All right, welcome back into another episode of Indie B&B. Today I'm joined by Blake Watt of the project Family Stereo. Blake, how we feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go this morning. We're getting it going.
Yeah. What time is it over there in Atlanta?
Yeah, we're cruising at a 9:01 a.m. So we got
Oh, wow.
we're in the single digits, but we're feeling good, ready to go. Excited to talk with you about fault lines and the thread. We got some new stuff coming out, so talk to me. I mean, like, how this whole thing get started with Family Stereo.
I started it back in 2018, just as like a solo project. Just making tunes in my bedroom. Before I went off to university. And then I sort of stopped doing it when I was at university.
Mhm.
I was just focusing on my studies. I was doing drama at the time, and then when I moved back to London, I just decided to just try and pursue it properly. And yeah, for the last like I'd say 3 years, I've been just gigging and releasing music. Released a couple of EPs, just self-released,
Mhm.
and now we're doing full LP with Bella Union. And yeah, so that's kind of I mean, it is still a solo project, but I do play with a full band
Mhm.
usually, unless I'm sort of having to support someone on my own. So yeah, it's still sort of my project, but we're a band live mostly.
Got it. Okay. When you came back from college, was it difficult to kind of get back like get the creative juices flowing again after kind of being away? Like, or did you songwrite in college a little bit and just kind of keep it flowing? Or was it like, all right, like, came back and now I'm like, all right, I want to reboot it and let's get it going.
Yeah. I was writing a little bit, but not that much. I think
Hmm.
COVID really messed up my degree. I was doing drama, which is like probably the worst thing to do over a laptop. And I think I was just like depressed for a year or two, and I wasn't
Yeah.
really writing that much. And so it was nice to like come out of that and come back to London where I grew up, and really just try and do this thing which I've always felt very close to. It's my parents are both musicians and it's in the family, so I thought, you know, um, you know, why not go for it?
Yeah. Well, did you seek advice from them whenever you kind of decided to make the decision to start this, or like what did they have any maybe unsolicited advice for you?
Yeah, I mean they always say that their advice is like a bit out of date, because the industry has changed so much since they were, in their heyday. But they're so useful to have as for sort of practical advice, but more kind of just like the emotional side of like, they've been through it and they know how hard it is and all the ups and downs. So I think I really go to them for that kind of thing. When I'm struggling, they're really good with making me feel better.
I love that. Love that. Well, you get the full support of the family. For this particular, EP, you kind of built into this. So, how do we get to this moment here? Like, I mean, how many, gigs, different things, like, what have you done to kind of build the path to this one here?
Um, well, I mean, it just felt like the natural progression. We didn't want to do like another EP because I don't know, it just felt a bit limiting. Just
Hmm.
like you can't really say that much. It just feels a bit half baked. Like it's a nice thing to do and it's good to like build a bit of an audience, and um I don't think I was ready to make an album until I did. Like I think making two EPs felt like the natural thing to do. Um but yeah, and then just been gigging a lot. You know, done, probably getting up to, 70, 80 gigs.
Yeah.
Which, there are obviously bands that gig more, but like
Yeah.
I think we're maybe more of a like recording, like put an album out and then sort of play shows rather than like, really just the live thing is like everything. I think we're
Yeah.
more of like it's quite understated music, and you know, so I think we want to build it through the recording.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have like a partner in that's in the band that you record with and you build the songs with, or is it mainly you in the bedroom still? What's that process look like?
yeah, so it's the drummer Sam. He is well. We also live together, and he's my producer and friend. And yeah, so we work out of his studio. He's got like a little home studio set up. Um, and that's where we made both of the EPs and then the album. So and we record like some drums at his university because he goes to like music uni
Hmm.
still. He's in his final year, but it's good to like record drums properly there. Although he has just set up a proper drum kit set up in his studio, so we can now do it, you know, on site.
Oh man! All right. Well, we expect some more stuff getting cranked out there. Then
Hell
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. Well, with the with the name of the band and kind of getting to that setup, like did you and Sam kind of talk through like Family Stereo? Was that mainly your brainchild? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, I mean, Family Stereo was a name that I came up with like on my own when I was, 17 or something. I just didn't want to release music under my own name. I just felt like it was a bit like
Hmm.
I don't know, I just like grew up listening to like indie bands and I just like wanted like an indie band name. I think it
Yeah.
was more just that I wanted to feel like the music I was making, like sort of fake it till you make it or like,
Yeah.
to like have that I don't know, maybe a slight bit of like a mask or a bit of
Hmm.
like anonymity maybe, but
Yeah. Always good to kind of have that little bit of a little bit of a buffer between kind of your personal and the project. I feel like
yeah, exactly, yeah.
very good, very good. Well, want to get into fault lines, right? That's the one you have latest out. Like, why'd you pick that one specifically for the for the single? Was there something about it that you were like, hey, like this is kind of a good antithesis of the album, or like where was the kind of thought process there?
Yeah, I feel like it sums up the like sonically what the album is about, and it's I think it's fast paced enough that it was a good first single because it's like
Hmm.
quite immediate. Um, but it was the last song that we wrote for the album. I think it kind of it shows because like I feel like it sums up what we were doing. And Sam wrote the instrumental, but he couldn't do anything with it, so I then wrote the lyrics over the top of that.
Hmm.
Um, so it does feel very much like our sort of like it was a co-write, and it feels like a shared song, like culmination of all the stuff that the album was building towards. Um, and yeah, I mean, I like that song. I feel like it's pretty simple. Like I didn't overthink it. I was just sort of writing pretty immediately, just over the top of it. I can definitely overthink it sometimes when I write with my guitar, so that was nice. Um, and yeah, it's catchy. It's got a poppy kind of chorus. So
Yeah, I think like I love the drums at the beginning, just like the da, 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 getting it going like right off the bat. Like that thing that's a a good gets your heart pumping, gets you ready to go. So what for you when you is that typically how the songwriting process goes, where you'll write over a beat that or the instrumental that Sam makes, or is it oftentimes you and the guitar and then you'll come together? What's that look like for Family Stereo usually?
it's almost always me and the guitar.
Hmm.
That was quite unusual that he sent me something that I then wrote over. Yeah, it always starts from just sitting at the guitar or the piano, but not often because I'm
Hmm.
not like I still need to learn how to play the piano properly.
Yeah, I mean, I think like my buddy who plays the guitar, he says that the piano, it's the same chord progression, I believe. Like it's like you kind of take the guitar and like you put it on the keys. I guess I don't know. He said it's easier, and I'm like, Well, I can't learn both, so like I don't know what to tell you. It seems like both are very hard. So, um, for you, like as you get in, into a songwriting process, like do you typically start lyric first? Do you start, with a melody and you're picking a little bit? Like where do you typically start whenever you're sitting down? You're like, all right, I'm gonna write some songs.
The lyrics definitely come at the end. I always start with chords and melody,
Hmm.
and I sort of shape the lyrics around that. Like how the lyrics actually sound, sort of like phonetically. The actual like rhythm and the sort of that comes before like the meaning a lot of the time. So often it'll just be like gibberish at first, and then it'll sort of I'll attach meaning afterwards.
Hmm.
And I don't love lyrics that are too like literal. So I think I'm writing even more in a kind of pared back way, or like sketching out something like quite broadly rather than like referring to it specifically.
Hmm.
I quite like that sort of cryptic thing.
Gotcha. So nothing, just like you want it to be a little bit deeper and have to kind of have a little bit more meaning to it, than being
Yeah,
literal.
because lyrics mean different things to everyone. So like, you know, like some of my favorite songs, I don't really know what the lyrics are about, but they make me feel something.
Yeah, got it. Very cool. Well, when you're preparing these, the songs, like, do you guys have the live set in mind? Like, do you guys, prepare and record with a full band, or is it mainly just you two, and then you guys go find players for the rest of the band?
We've had the same band now for
Hmm.
like a couple of years. So yeah, we just bring the songs in, and because they've been recorded, it's pretty
Hmm.
easy to like put them together. Um, because we record everything just me and Sam. It's then quite easy to
Hmm.
then put it together. And
Very cool.
they're not that complicated, like the arrangements.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, you get them, you can probably tour them pretty quickly. Now, when you were doing the 70 to 80 dates, like were those mainly in Europe, or did you guys come over to the US a little bit? Where were the main hot spots you guys were hitting?
We have not played anywhere outside of the UK as a band.
Wow. Okay.
I've played a couple of times on my own. Like I played out in Sweden last year
Hmm.
and in Paris. But as a band, we haven't. I mean, we haven't even like properly toured regionally. We're still very much like we've just gigged in London. Because we're still like tiny band. Like no one knows who we are.
Yeah.
So like even our tour for the album is gonna just be like 4 dates just around the UK, just to sort of really just start off. You know.
Hmm. When you go, and do you guys often get do you have like places in London that specifically you guys love to play, or is there, a place you guys, have kind of on the pedestal that you're like, hey, like if we can go and play there, that means we've gotten, to a big step.
Well, there's this place called the Windmill in Brixton, which is in South London, that has really been a sort of hub for,
Hmm.
um, you know, just great new music. And that was like a place that when I came out of uni, I was like, I really want to play there.
Hmm.
So it was really cool to do. I mean, we've played there loads of times now, and it's very beloved. It's a proper community surrounding that place, which is lovely. And but it's tiny. It's like 100, 200 people. Less than that even. And yeah, there are definitely venues in London that I would love to play that are bigger, or um, we did play this venue that's a bit bigger. We were opening for someone, and we played at this venue called Earth, which is like a beautiful old cinema. It's like quite decrepit and like it's falling apart, but it's
Yeah.
like really kind of cavernous sounding, and oh, it was amazing. So that was a real that was a special special gig to be able to play there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you know, you mentioned earlier, like when you go see, if you ever were to seek advice from your parents, like it's a little bit outdated. Like as you've kind of gotten into this world, in the world of being an artist now, right? The social media and all of that stuff. Like, what's the family stereo, directives there? What are the things you guys are doing, on there to kind of? I know it's part of like the deal, as it stands today. So like, what are your thoughts there? I mean, you did do drama, but you didn't like doing it over the computer, which I imagine like kind of doing it over the phone is pretty similar. So
Mm.
talk me through what y'all do there, and kind of your strategy.
What me and my parents do.
Oh no, what you do for Family Stereo specifically. For like when you're creating content to try to get people and get followers. I know it's kind of part of the game these days. So
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I'm always so torn. Like, I really don't like the internet. I try and
yeah,
spend as little time on it as I can. I just prefer to sort of, write and read and like, spend time outdoors. But I have to do it. So, and I've spent a lot of time on it, in the past. I'm trying to spend less time on it now, but I think
yeah,
I'm pretty clued into like what you need to do. So, and I've done TikTok. Like I mainly just do covers on there just for fun.
yeah,
But it's depressing because then I post an original and it gets like way less engagement, and it
yeah,
just, oh man, it's just so tough. Like even if I post every day for like a week and it's just not really going anywhere, it's just so hard to keep the motivation up. And
yeah,
I just think that TikTok and the internet, it favors quite watered down, surface level music. And I don't really think that like subtlety and nuance like translates that well. People don't really get it in mass. I see a lot of people that get it so much traction, and it's like this is so derivative, or this is just really like boring.
yeah,
So it's tough. But you have to do it. I'm active on Instagram.
yeah. I think like it's that's the general sentiment I get from a lot of artists is like, yeah, like it's hard to get our point across because we're trying to be this when this is what's fits in that category, right? Like it's interesting. You kind of have to go outside the box to figure out how your brand fits into that kind of category. And so
Mm.
yeah, you're not alone. I would say of the hundreds of these I've done, like that's pretty much the sentiment across the board. So yeah, the
That's
necessary evil. The necessary evil for sure. But whenever you do get, some, a little bit of, traction, like, I think one of your tracks is about 218,000 streams on Spotify. So like, how did those things, happen? Like, when you get, some success like that, like, do you guys try to like recreate, or try to do some things similar to that song to kind of help with that? Or is it more like, hey, like we wrote that one and it just happened to get some traction there?
Well, that song in particular, I think you're talking about Early Promise.
Yeah.
That was we got the streams through. Do you know Submit Hub?
No.
You can like submit to like user-made playlists. Like it's not
Okay.
it's not like a bot thing, but you can basically pay to submit to like playlists, and a lot of it gets rejected.
Mhm.
But I think we got on like quite a big playlist through like submitting through that, and then I think maybe it also got on like a Fresh Finds folk
Yeah.
thing. But like I think that song just quite neatly fits into the kind of indie folk thing, you know, um, which maybe Fault Lines doesn't. Like
Yeah.
Fault Lines is a bit more like, like one of my friends was like, it's spooky. It's a spooky song. Like I don't want to listen to it, and maybe like the playlists don't like that either. I don't
We need
know.
to get the spooky indie rock playlist. I mean, we got to get
I
some
know.
like a Halloween favorites or like I don't know,
Well,
like
there
something.
is. I think there is like a spooky like
Yeah.
playlist, with like Phoebe Bridgers on
Hmm.
and like Elliott Smith or whatever. So I guess there is lots of like spooky or like kind of haunting,
Yeah.
indie music, but it's hard, man. It's hard to get traction on those Spotify
Yeah.
playlists. I think a lot of it is like the industry um, being behind you, or you've got like a big label plugging you or
Yeah.
something, you know.
Well, I would say I always kind of ask this because I'm always curious for folks. Like, for you, like, I know we how do you define success? I guess as you have the album coming out, like, what will for you if you look back next year on this year and the things you're doing this year, like, what are you gonna feel like? How do you define the success part? Like, where do you see that? As you evaluate everything.
I would just really like for people to like just take it seriously and just think of it as like an exciting new,
Mhm.
thing that's coming out
Yeah.
and I don't think that it's gonna achieve like massive success. Like
Yeah.
I think I'm aware that it's gonna be a slow burn. Even if it does end up being successful, I think it's gonna happen pretty slowly. And that's like okay, I'm like aware of that.
Yeah.
But I would just like people to like get it and to connect with the kinds of people that will get it. Because
Mm.
I think the kinds of people that like that kind of music will get it, I hope. I just want to be taken seriously alongside other artists that I really look up to. And to be fair, in some ways, like being on this, being on Belly Union, which has some of my favorite bands on, it's already kind of, that's already an like very affirming thing. So I'm already really like in some ways have made it to some degree,
Yeah.
so like I'm super grateful, but yeah, I'm just I guess yeah.
I love that. I love that. You want to find like I've heard somebody say they want to find their fans, right? Like, not
Mhm.
necessarily um people who will dig the music, and it's just hard to just find those people and connect with them in some way, whether it be through the internet, whether it be through gigging, and be able to continue to build the beast, as it said. So, well,
Build the
awesome.
beast, yeah,
Build the beast.
like that.
Um, well, I wanted to dive in a little bit more to some questions that are going to be a little bit more off the wall here. So we'll get into Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. It'll be a rapid fire kind of feel, 20 questions right in a row. Blake Watt, here we go. Cake or pie?
Cake.
All right, he's caking it up. I like it. All right, salad or soup?
Soup.
Soup. Awesome. All right, sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of these days?
Sunset. I'd never really see sunrise.
All right, all right. A little American question here. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
Oh, brother. Maybe a home run. I think that would feel more gratifying.
Yeah, going yard. I like it. All right,
Yeah.
night in or night out? What are you having more of these days?
Night in,
Night in.
definitely.
I love it. All right. When you do go out though, and your jam comes on, are you more likely to hit the robot or the worm on the dance floor?
I definitely can't do the worm, so it's got to be the robot.
Got to be the robot. All right. Guac or queso at your local Mexican spot?
Ooh, guac.
Guac. I love it. All right. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
All right.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea with your pancakes?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Gotta be
Awesome.
coffee.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs. I love it. All right. Ninja or a pirate? What do you identify more with?
Uh, Probably a ninja.
Yeah. All right. Chips or pretzels, or crisps or pretzels, as you like to say.
Crisps.
I love it. All right. Chips or tots? So traditional chips, if you will. So fries.
Uh, I think chips.
Chips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. All right. TV show or movie after a long day?
Oh, that's hard, man. After a long day, maybe TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This one may be irrelevant now, but are aliens real?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. There's probably something out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is a new one. If you were a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be?
Um, an avocado.
An
No,
avocado.
that's just the first thing that came into my head.
I like that. That's a kind of a different answer. I like it. Is love at first sight real?
Uh, I don't know. I think maybe lust can be, but
Yeah.
like I think love is something that develops slowly.
Yeah. All right. And final question, Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. Who are a couple of bands that we ought to know that, maybe you guys have on the UK scene that we ought to check out?
Um, well, our lap steel player Dove is the front man of a brilliant band called the Glowworms. And he's from LA originally, so it's got that kind of alt country, um, indie twang thing. They're really, really great. They just put out their new single, Those Things. And who else is good on the scene? Um, who else is like coming up right now with us? Oh, there's a band that I really like that I saw at this festival that we played at last week called Glass House Red Spider Mite. It's a bit of a long one, but they are really lovely. They have a song called Everyone Loves You. It's like kind of slowcore, kind of emo-y, but like, you know, indie. It's really beautiful, and the two singers share vocals and they have lovely harmonies. I think they're from Brighton. I'd recommend those two bands. Sure.
Very cool. So we got the glowworms and glass house spider mite, red spider
Red
mite.
Spotlight. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Awesome. Well, we'll get to have to check those out. But Blake Watt, you conquered the Pete Peterson party pack of questions. You have conquered the interview. Everyone go check out Fault Lines. And then July 31st, The Thread comes out and we'll be rocking and rolling to it. But Blake, appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you for your time as well, mate. I really appreciate it.
You got it.